everybody. Welcome to Summer Game Fest. We are in person, and today we've got a look at what's next in video games for you. We are live here in Los Angeles at YouTube Theater, and it feels so good to be in person with a live fan audience for the first time ever. Welcome, everybody. When I started Summer Game Fest back in 2020 from a spare bedroom, I never imagined it would grow into this. Today, the video game industry has come together to show you what's next. This is a cross-industry showcase, meaning no matter where you play games, I hope you'll discover a new game to put on your wish list. The landscape of video game events has certainly changed over the past few years, but one thing hasn't. There are a lot of great games in development, and our singular goal today is to get you excited about the future. In just a few minutes, we'll see the first extended gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1. It delivers, don't worry. Alan Wake 2, the reveal of Fortnite's next season, and yes, we do have a very special grand finale that you're not going to want to miss.
Welcome to episode 52 of the video game podcast, PlayStation Pals. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined by the Aerith to my Tifa, Jon. Jon, this is our 1-year anniversary.
I know. You want a kiss? Hug? What should we do?
We can high five.
Made it a year, buddy.
52 episodes, and we didn't miss a single week, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, we are the men. We are the men.
That or we need to take some vacations.
Well, you're about to, right?
Yeah,
you're about to take a little weekend getaway.
Yeah.
That counts, so that'll be nice. But yeah, I can't believe we, I don't stick with much in my life. I am very flaky and and not very successful in many ways. But the podcast has made it a year. I hope to be another, many more to come.
Yeah.
And It's nice to be able to finally get it was a pretty. The first year of the show wasn't the most news heavy, right? We started.
COVID.
Just got our first PlayStation showcase. That let us down a little bit. COVID happened. It's been going through some slowness, but it's nice to be able to have these special shows and talk about some actual games and new stuff coming out. So
yeah, I agree with you. So. Yeah, so this episode's taking immediately after Summer Game Fest. So we're going to talk all about that in this show. There's not going to be a six things, but again, if you have thoughts, opinions, subscribe to us at YouTube at PS Pals, at PlayStation Pals, Twitter at PS Pals Pod, and Gmail at PlayStationPalsPod@gmail.com. Do any of those things. Give us your thoughts. We'll read them on the show. And yeah, so let's move right into it. Let's talk about Summer Game Fest. Let's talk about our overall review of the show. Our expectations, I think, were a little more in check, if I remember our predictions correctly.
Yeah, they were.
Especially after that underwhelming showcase by Sony. We didn't know what Sony was going to bring. We didn't know what anybody else was going to bring. This is kind of in the mix. There's a Xbox showcase in a few days and a Capcom showcase. And a Ryugai Gokudoku.
Wow, what? Ryuga Godoku.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Ubisoft 4. There's a lot of other events surrounding this thing, but it is Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley likes to bring it. And like I said, we just finished watching it. So we're going to start off with our review of Summer Game Fest. Again, if you want to watch our reaction to the whole thing, that is up on YouTube now as you're listening to this.
If you want to watch me spill coffee all over my laptop, you can do that.
Yeah. Yep. So that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, just a brief aside. I am known in my family as the klutz. If you go out to dinner with me, don't sit next to me. I've dumped water entirely on my wife. I've broken glasses. I'm a klutz. I'll admit it.
Okay, and it wasn't even like anything like acceptable. Like there was like a big announcement. Like,
nope, I was just shifting.
Yeah,
just shifting.
So all right, let's get into our reviews of the show. John, take it away. What are your thoughts on this show overall? It's just about 2 hours. There was a lot of games there.
Yeah.
But what did you think?
Yeah, so I think this show is the product of expectations. You said it right off the top. I think going into this one, not expecting the world and the moon and the stars and everything in between and kind of just like being ready to be shown some games, and I know I'm going to find some that I like, and I know I'm going to find some that I want them to get off the screen as quickly as possible. But, saying all that, I think it was a fine show. It didn't blow me away. It didn't disappoint me in any way. I think there's it's one of those shows that I think a lot of developers and publishers and companies out there, they want to put together something so that there's a couple things for everybody. Not necessarily everything's for one person, but here's a couple things for everybody. And I think they successfully did that, starting off, with a brand new side-scrolling Prince of Persia, tickles some Metroidvania fans like myself. You're getting fighting games, you're getting JRPGs, you're getting chill farm building games, and then you finish it off with, one of the most popular franchises in video game history.
Yep.
It's hard to be too upset with it. But that being said, I thought, like these shows always have, because they need to be funded, they need to be paid for. You're going to have some lulls, you're going to have some advertisements. But, Summer Game, this was what, the third or fourth year of Summer Games Fest?
I don't know.
It might even be more than that. But so the expectations have solidified themselves into place, and I knew that we were going to get that stuff, so it didn't make me too mad. But
right.
So, yeah, it's like a solid 3 out of 5 type deal.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. There wasn't a lot of exciting things to be. In fact, the two biggest exciting things were the two games we knew about, which is we got Spider-Man 2 release date, and we saw an extended trailer for Final Fantasy Rebirth, which, again, this is not us just learning about it. We knew that game existed. And I think a lot of the announcements of the show were just kind of check-ins, checking on this game, checking on that game, and then we got extended gameplay for Mortal Kombat 1 and Alan Wake 2, but those were known quantities, and I think coming away from those gameplay reveals was like more of the same, and including Immortals of Avium, a game we just saw 2 weeks ago, shown again. It's just like
they're really pushing that one, man. Really pushing that one.
Outside of their sports games, what Electronic Arts have for the rest of the year.
Oh, I was about to say, well, they just released a Jedi or Survivor game, where Star Wars was the words I was looking for there.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest of the year, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
Jack
so I think, it seemed to start really strong. I would say the Game Awards are our top tier for like a showcase. Like the Game Awards was awesome. Like we love that show very much. And then
Hades 2 was there.
Yeah, Hades 2. It's a little game.
Yep.
And then, the showcase brought us down. We both did not think very highly on this, and then I think this is kind of in between. It was well paced. It was nice to see some extended gameplay demos of games, but I don't think there was not we're waiting for that on camera. One of us has to stand up because we're like, oh my God, kind of moments, and that just wasn't here either.
No, yeah, it's weird. It does seem like there's a lot of developers out there just that we haven't heard from in a while that are being a little bit quiet. I think of Supergiant. I guess we know that they're working on Hades 2, or just some of these other big developers that Take-Two, and obviously they're working on Grand Theft Auto. We know that's coming. Insomniac, we know they're working on Wolverine. There's a lot of things that seem to be kind of just out and about, but we're just getting, this is a lot more like, South Korean developers. We're seeing like NCSofts and Nexons and Bandai Namcos and, that kind of stuff, which is fine. But, where are the big boys? And maybe Xbox will bring it. I'm not sure. You know, I mean, if they need to right their ship, now's the time to do it. So throw money at different publishers and developers out there to be there, even if they're multi-plat games. But it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of like, as time is going on, I'm a little less positive about this one. I feel like even the games at the PlayStation Showcase were a little bit stronger. It's just, again, it's the product of the expectations that come alongside that.
Right. And I think what was shown, the game shown here, showed better than the ones at the PlayStation.
Yeah, there's more
Showcase.
gameplay. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you need.
more gameplay and a little more dates, and
even something like John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, right? Like that's a silly ass looking game, but like at least I can see what it is, so I can digest and absorb and figure out if that's something for me as opposed to Concord, which I have no idea.
Right.
So.
Right. I agree with you. So. And again, it is E3 season. It's built around all these events. So again, the things that we wanted to see are probably going to show up within the next few weeks, and we'll go from there. So
yeah, and I've heard rumblings and rumors around the industry that I'm inside information.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That it does seem like there is another Sony showcase brewing. Like it seems like there's a lot of people that know about different projects and things that they have going that weren't talked about. If they weren't here, I don't know where they possibly would be. Mm-hmm. So my guess is that we are going to get that. If this was kind of like Sony's Showcase A with like live service games, our new teams, they're going to have something later in the year that'll be like, these are the first party teams, the Blue Points, the people, that you came to see. So I imagine that'll be the one that hopefully knocks our socks off. But
yeah, it gets us to buy a PSVR too.
Maybe.
But so I'm with you. 3 out of 5, just a good showing, some good video games.
Yeah.
But didn't blow my socks off as the Game Awards did.
Yeah. As the kids say.
Yeah, so let's get into the individual announcements of the show, the bigger ones. There was a lot to show there, and we're going to skip over a couple things, but let's go one by one. Let's go through it, and let's get our thoughts.
Yeah, so Nick, the way I'm going to do this, I wrote them all down. I'll read them off. If you have nothing to say, you can just say, just say move on.
Pass.
Yeah, exactly, pass. But I do want to at least, read all these out. So,
okay.
We'll just kind of go through them. So first game shown, and honestly, it was kind of one of the more surprising announcements of the showcase. Because it is an existing franchise that we haven't seen in a long time with a different style than we've never seen. Mm-hmm. That's the Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown from Ubisoft, which looks to be more of a side-scrolling Metroidvania, which is something that I'm into.
Yeah.
Did this game do anything for you, Nick?
Yeah, it looked good. I'm a fan of the franchise, the Prince of Persia games, the 3D ones especially. Because this was what it originally was. Like
I don't think anybody's a fan of the Super Nintendo. I mean, I'm sure there are, but nobody thinks of those anymore.
But yeah, so I think of the franchise very fondly, and this did look very good. I think on stream you mentioned Metroid Dread, and that is a very good comparison. I'm sure they love hearing that. That's
the way the boss fights look specifically, like just with the amount of screen that's taken up by the bosses, the amount of screen that your character's taking up, and like kind of it had some bright, flashy colors kind of going on that Metroid did too.
And as on a whole, we've been kind of down on Ubisoft. So to see kind of this cooler, smaller project that is more in our wheelhouse and not in the live service element that we're really down on. This is not an X-Defiant or them chasing some other kind of trend.
Skull and
it's
Bones.
them. I don't know who within Ubisoft is working on this, but this looked exciting. I like the art style. I like everything that was shown, and this was one of the. It's not it didn't knock our socks off, but it was a nice, pleasant surprise coming early next year.
Yeah, this is the Ubisoft I like. I mean, Rayman Legends, I love that kind of stuff. So, if they can have some more smaller type projects that just take care of, do something with their IPs that's a little bit different. I'm a little more interested in that than I am of just here's the next open world X game, whatever.
Right.
All right. Well, then next we got a game we knew was going to be here. Prior to the show, Keeley loves to tweet out certain things, which I honestly wish he didn't do that. I kind of like not knowing what's going to be there.
You got to get a little hype.
Yeah, it's fine. In this game, we already knew, we knew that it existed. It's been shown off here in the past couple weeks, and that's Mortal Kombat 1. Got a nice, meaty, probably 5-minute trailer. Showed off some gameplay, showed off the cameo system, showed some fatalities, a little bit of the story. Take it away, Nick. What did you think?
It looked okay. It looked fine. It wasn't reinventing the wheel. Unlike Street Fighter, which, they've been supporting Street Fighter 5 for a long time, but, they had Street Fighter 6 to hit a week ago and just take the world by storm, 92 on Open Critic, doing everything right. And then this to come out and just look more of the same. Even the cameo system wasn't like, oh, wow, yay.
Right.
It was just kind of, it looked like a good sequel, not a reboot of the series or anything like that. It just looked like this is the next game. And since we're only less than 3 years away from the expansion, Aftermath, that this is taking place after. It seems too soon. I really wish they went Injustice 3 instead of gone to this. And yeah, it didn't sell me on the game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It didn't look like a game that was being made exclusively for next-gen systems. It didn't look bad, but
no.
Just bad timing, man. Coming off the heels of Street Fighter, just to drive that point home, it just became, I think, the 29th game of all time to get a perfect score from Famitsu, which is it's the IGN of Japan. So like that's the level of quality that their competitors just came out with, and Capcom is on top of the world right now. So it's gonna be pretty hard, I think, for them to come out and have people not just directly compare it to Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But it's also the kind of game that I think it's a 30-year franchise. All of these fighting games are at this point, so it's like it's gonna always have its loyal fan base, and that's fine. But yeah, I kind of wish the cameo system looked to just be like another move set.
Yeah, can you explain that really quick for people who maybe not have seen what it is?
Yeah, so the cameo system is this new idea that they're trying to implement where you can basically, when you go into the character select screen, you're able to pick your character, but then you also pick a cameo fighter, which can then be used during the fight with a single button prompt to allow you to kind of basically expand your moveset and use some of the moves from other characters.
Yep.
So it looked like you hold R1, and then based on if you push forward, down, up, or back, it's going to do a different move from that person, which is neat. But like in terms of innovation in the way that you're trying to move a franchise forward, you compare something like that to what Street Fighter 6 did this year, and it's like it's not even a comparison.
Right.
So again, there's going to be that crowd of people that just want to see as much blood as possible.
Right. And to be fair, they did not show off Homelander or Omni-Man, which would have really gotten...
You're saving that one.
Yeah, that would have really perked John and I's ears up, and our eyes would have glowed as seeing either of those characters. Because again, they're leaked. We know they exist. We want to know who's voicing them.
Right, and that would have been a cool moment.
How they fit into the world. Yeah, it would have been really nice. But I know they want to. It's baby steps, right? Like let's show what's new in terms of gameplay.
Every fighting rollout.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's drip feed the characters that you can play as, and then the other characters as well. So
didn't look horrible, but kind of much like this showcase, I expected maybe a little bit more. But it's okay. Real quick here, Nick. I don't have much to say about this. I just love the crossover. They showed basically mecha.
Strong word.
I do love this crossover because I think it's always a good.
Do you like the idea, or
let me get into it.
Yeah, say what it is.
So they showed off Ryu, right, in a robot Ryu, and so initially that's going to throw off some questions, but they're doing a Street Fighter Exoprimal crossover, which is the upcoming Capcom robot versus dinosaur game, and I just loved seeing Ryu with a gun just mowing down tons of dinosaurs. But I do love this crossover, Nick, because I wish sometimes companies would just have more fun and just try to do silly little things. It doesn't matter. This game isn't, putting Ryu in there is not going to take this game from an 8 to a 9. It's not going to do anything like that. It's just showing the fans that, like, hey, we're here to have fun. Like, let's just have fun together.
Right.
And I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's fine. And again, we'll see more of this.
And also Guile was in there too, I think.
Yeah, there was a robot Guile, and again, there's a Capcom event coming up.
Yep.
So this is just we'll see a lot of Exoprimal, I'm assuming, at this Capcom event. So.
Yep. All right.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's there for you if you want it. Next up, got some probably the biggest guest of the day. Keeley has definitely made a routine of having guests on stage, celebrities, people that you kind of wouldn't expect. I think Pacino was at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
So they brought out Mr. Nicolas Cage, Oscar winner Nicolas Cage, to basically talk about his inclusion in the Dead by Daylight franchise.
They did.
He will be available on July 5th to play as, but I don't have a lot of insight into this game, so I can't really speak to anything like that, but always fun to see people, faces we know in situations we're not used to seeing them in. Nick, I feel like every time a celebrity comes into this world, into the video game space, they always have to make a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for inviting me to your cool club or whatever he said, ha ha ha. But, it's cool. Nick Cage he's a cult classic celebrity at this point.
Right.
People love him for whatever reason. I like him. I don't have a problem with him, but, Anyway, anything to say about this, Nick? I really got nothing else.
No, I mean, Dead by Daylight's been out for a long time. John and I don't play it. it probably needed this kind of insurgence. I'm sure this will bring a lot of people to the game, but it is always cool to see Idris Elba, Nick Cage, these celebrities show up in video games. But no, this is just. It was cool that he was there, and in the reaction video, it just kind of hyped me up. Like I thought this show was gonna be much bigger, because this was like within the first 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's like we got a new game from Ubisoft, and then we got the Mortal Kombat 1 extended demo, and then this, and I was like, this is gonna be a lot bigger than we think, because I don't know, this is getting there.
It was definitely a big name to get. I feel like though with these shows, you always got to remember it's a line and then a dip. Yeah. And then it comes back up a little bit. I feel like that's the typical format for a show, and so
especially the Keeley ones, because they have to have ads. So
right,
it's,
right. Yeah. Hey, put out some big bangers right up front. Stay tuned. Yeah. Get our ad money, and then stay for something cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. This one was kind of weird. We got PlayStation showed up 2 times here, right?
Yes.
Right. And so this was the first one, just showing off one PSVR 2 game
that we've seen.
Not first party or anything. Crossfire, Sierra Squad. Had a silly little live action thing alongside of it. I got nothing. This would be a pass for me.
No, this might be an ad. This might have been an ad in the show, but because there was a lot of production.
I didn't even think of that.
There was a lot of production in it, and I think it was an ad, to be honest. But yeah, just more gameplay of Crossfire X. It's a tactical shooter in VR. Does nothing. We've seen it before.
Pew pew. Yeah. Cool. Next up, a game that I'm low-key excited for. I mean, it's not a day one or anything like that, but I enjoyed the first one. We got to see a little bit more of Remnant from Ashes 2, which is a, weirdly enough, procedurally generated third-person co-op shooter, where you're kind of going through these environments. You're facing hard enemies. Think very much like the Souls franchise, but with guns. Different characters with different abilities, working with a team to take down big bosses and stuff. I played the first one for probably about 5 hours, and I definitely enjoyed my time with it. It had a lot of systems in place that I enjoyed, just leveling up guns, leveling up equipment, gear, things like that, with the hard combat and satisfying loop that you get with a Souls game when you finally take down somebody. But yeah, I mean, I thought that it looked cool, like the character design, enemy design, things looked interesting, seemed pretty eldritchy and gnarly kind of thing, but does this one do anything for you, Nick?
Nope. All you, man.
Okay.
All you.
Yeah, so, I might check it out when it comes out, but okay. Nick did have a point when we were talking about it during the show, is that there is something about that I've grown tired of with tanky enemies. I just with maybe the exception of like the Soul series, because like that's just inherently built in the game. But when you're shooting something, when you're consistently shooting something for 5 straight minutes, it just gets a little bit tiring, because you're gonna eventually you're dodging and then aim, dodge, and then you're just doing that over and over.
I played a lot of Destiny, so
that's fair.
I'm done.
All right, I'm kind of excited about this next one, Nick. This one was completely out of left field. Completely, we didn't know anything about it. But we get to see kind of the evolution of the Sonic 2D side-scrolling franchise.
Yeah.
They started the trailer off with like one of those, kind of before and after things, where on the left side of the screen it's old school looking Sonic, a line down the middle, and he goes over, and then it's like this, fully 3D rendered animated thing, and it looks really, really nice. But yeah, it's just more Sonic, more side-scrolling Sonic. Looks like it's up to 4 co-op players, maybe a Rayman Legends, new Super Mario style experience, but with a familiar formula. So this one could be kind of cool. What do you think about Sonic Superstars?
Yeah, it looked really good. It's a smart idea, and obviously, whether it was at the new Super Mario games, we're doing the same thing. Yep. So it's smart to just bring Sonic and his friends into the same format, and Sonic's known for great fast levels. I don't know how that's gonna work with multi 2, 3, 4 people, and you got one guy going really fast throughout the level. Everyone's gonna be lagging behind, or I think they were putting the bubbles in the new Super Mario World game.
Yep. Yeah. If you get off, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It definitely looked really good, and if there's any, I know since a year ago we're not high on Sonic Frontiers. Our very first episode, we were not high on Sonic Frontiers at all.
Nope.
But we are high on the 2D Sonic. So I think I think this could be a good game, and it's coming later this year. So this is definitely, if I was going to say like one of the top announcements of the show, this is one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see. Yeah, I think that is the big question. How do you do co-op with the amount of speed that is inherently tied into the series? Especially it seems like based on what they showed that it's not 4 split screens, right? It's
Right.
one screen with 4 characters. So
Right.
we'll see. I'm sure they got it figured out.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Honkai Star Rail coming Q4 to PlayStation 5.
Yep. This was my prediction to be in the showcase.
Yep.
It finally showed up. Of course, Jeff Keighley has had the exclusives on a few Hoyoverse announcements, so not shocking that this showed up here. But, yeah.
Expect this game to, kind of take a lot of oxygen out of the room when it comes out. I mean, at least within a specific amount of, or a specific group. Genshin Impact was absolutely fucking huge. It's honestly probably one of the smartest properties that Sony's tied itself to, to get in with the Hoyoverse right off the ground floor. So this is only coming to PlayStation 5. It's not coming to Xbox. Tactical JRPG turn-based mechanics.
Yep.
So, yeah, should be cool.
All
right. Next up, another kind of one of the bigger announcements of the show. Game we've known that's existed for a while now, but that's the Lies of P, which is a Pinocchio-based Bloodborne knockoff.
Yep.
We got a date for it, September 19th. And you get to play a demo available today.
Play it right now.
Which is absolutely huge because if you've listened to me talk about the Soul series, it's all about the feel.
Yep.
And you need to nail that. And so there's no way to get this game into people's hands until you prove to them that it passes the From Software test.
Yep.
So you playing the demo, Nick?
Yeah, I'll check out the demo for sure. I want to get really into it just to really make you mad. I'm like, this is just a better game than Souls.
If you
the
ever
Souls
come
franchise,
here and say it's better than Bloodborne, we're gonna have to redo
Bloodborne,
our top 2.
Lies of P.
We're gonna have to redo our top
Give me
50,
the
bud. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. I was reading just some of the the setup of this game, and it's more of a knockoff of Bloodborne than I thought. You wake up in a town,
it looks like it
everybody's locked themselves inside their house, just like Bloodborne. There's a disease or something going on. You got to fix it. So, but yeah, so play that. I'll probably hopefully have some impressions for that next week, at least on the demo.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely talk about it next week. I plan on checking it out too.
Yeah.
So, and then again another game coming this year, which, yes, please.
Yep.
More of
September
these,
19th.
more release dates, please.
Yeah, I wonder, if Starfield takes the world by storm. It's got a little bit of problems with that release date, but it's a different enough game. I don't think it'll be too bad.
Right.
All right. Up next, from Bandai Namco, a little man named Akira Toriyama. He's made a couple, couple arts. He's got a very unique art style that I think you'd immediately recognize if you saw his stuff. But he's Dragon Ball fame, Dragon Quest fame. But he's got a new franchise, new IP, which is titled Sandland.
Yep.
Looks to be an open world vehicle kind of. I don't know what you would describe this game to really be. Action RPG probably.
Yeah, and there was looked to be like some sim management too as well of wherever your village is. You kind of play as like a little red demon guy that can do combat, but then there's also a lot of vehicular combat. He's kind of paired with an old man who has a tank, and there's a lot of scenes of you doing a lot of vehicular combat. Yeah, this is, again, one of the announcements I would consider one of the top announcements because it was just out of nowhere. We didn't know this game existed. And it's Unreal 5, and it looks really good. It looks solid.
Yeah. I got this is coming to PS4 and PS5. It's like when do we stop with the PS4 crossover stuff?
The big games will get there. These smaller publishers, Bandai Namco,
it's just wild.
They're still going to be around, so
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's dumb. It's really dumb.
That's fine.
All right. This one doesn't do much for me just based on the genre it's in, but we got from NCSoft and Amazon Game Studios, Throne and Liberty, which seems to be medieval MMORPG.
That's a hard pass, John.
Great. Moving on. Warhaven from Nexon.
That's a hard pass, John.
Okay. Just for everybody out there, it's more of the same stuff. It's just multiplayer MMO
and
stuff.
it might not be coming to console.
And it might not be coming to console. But this one, I know Nick has been wanting to play. Unfortunately, he might need to wait a little bit because this is one of the rare Xbox-only games. We got a short little tiny thing for party animals, which is just your wacky physics-based,
yes.
Think gang beasts, think
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just goofy fun times. But coming September 20th to Xbox and PC. You can borrow my Xbox for this one if you want, Nick.
No. But yes, this is the second time I'll have FOMO on Xbox. The first one being Hi-Fi Rush, and now this game. But
wouldn't
this game
expect
will eventually come to PlayStation. But
being that it's multiplayer focused, I'd be surprised.
It looks great. You kind of play as every kind of animal on the planet. Any game where you can be a sea otter is just the win.
Sure.
So yeah, this just looks like a fun game to play with friends.
You're grabbing
and the
on
marketing's so perfect. They've nailed the marketing and the silliness. So.
Yep. You're grabbing onto each other. You're throwing people off buildings. You're hitting them with random things you pick up. It's meant to just You shouldn't be getting mad playing this game. If you're not doing anything except laughing, you're not playing it right. I would imagine.
And it's been shown quite a few times, so this is not a surprise. But I'm glad another this year game. So
yeah. Next up, we have Crash Team Rumble. We've seen this game before. Also coming.
That's a hard pass, John.
All right, June 20th. Check it out. Big one. We knew this was going to be here. Again, I kind of wish, this is why I wish that I didn't know, because it would have been cool to see some gameplay. But we did get to see Alan Wake 2. Sam Lake came out on stage, who is the CEO, founder of Remedy Games. He is the actual character model for Max Payne. So if you looked at him, you're like, I know that guy. It's because that's Max Payne. But we did get to see some gameplay of Alan Wake 2, got some details about it. It's going to be a kind of a dual narrative thing going on. We have the second character, her name is Saga, who seems to be kind of operating in this universe that Alan Wake is basically writing. That seems to be what's going on.
Right.
I know you know a little bit more about that, but they kind of basically confirmed that this is in fact a survival horror game. Like, this is the style of game that this is going to be, which seems to be a little bit of a departure from the first one, which was more shooter adventure-y kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked great. It looked very, very pretty. We got a date for October 17th.
Yep.
Sorry, Alan Wake. Spider-Man is going to, as we'll get to
that.
But they were kind of talking about how there's like this fluid switching between Alan.
That's the interesting
part. Between Alan and Saga, where it's like there's these dual narratives going on, and you can stay with one the whole time, or you can stay with the other the whole time, or you can bounce back and forth, and that's got to be an incredibly tricky thing to do.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to work in execution.
Yeah, but I feel like out of teams that could pull something off like that, Remedy's a pretty good bet.
Right.
So.
And is it just different? Like, you're playing the same levels, but Alan Wake sees it a different way.
Sure.
The encounters are different. And then Saga sees it a different way. How they play that out, especially if you're like, I'm just going to keep jumping between the two. Am I missing details? Should I do a whole playthrough as Alan Wake and then go back and do a whole playthrough as Saga?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It definitely adds an extra element to the game, because I thought the gameplay demo was a little weak. It looks right out of a Resident Evil remake.
Yeah.
The behind the camera, over the shoulder look that we've seen in all these Resident Evil remakes. But there was just one combat encounter. She fought one enemy. She did the typical Alan Wake thing of shining a light on it to make it, so she could hurt it, and shot it a couple times, and then was exploring the environment, and that was just it.
Yeah.
It was not a lot going on there, but it is Remedy. I trust them. You can do a little better.
Just show me the weird. That's all. I want to see the weird, which, like, they did a little stinger at the end of showing different scenes. And, yeah, like Nick says in the reactions video, there's, like, this weird, like, 4-armed shadow monster going at her. And it's like, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I eat that kind of stuff up. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great, though. I think if you're a survival horror fan, be excited for this one.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a little bit of info for our Warhammer Space Marine 2 due out this winter. Another one that we didn't get a specific date for, but a window. They talked about how this game's going to have co-op, which is kind of cool. I never played the first one. Nick, I know you did. Anything you saw from here?
It's going to be hard to say. This is a I'm blanking on their name. They had several Saber.
Yes.
They had several games with the showcase, and Saber is a very hit or miss developer. Again, this is an existing franchise, so they should be a little better. And what we see looks pretty good. Like, you're playing if you're not a Warhammer fan, a Space Marine is just kind of like a big hulking guy in a giant suit of armor, kind of like stomps around, and then the enemies in this game are kind of like insect-like. Like, think out of like Starship Troopers or something, and they're just like in giant crazy hordes. And there was just a lot of third-person shooter and melee combat. But so I don't know. This is up in the air. My big question would be performance.
Sure.
From this studio, but
yeah, it looks like a Earth Defense Force kind of game,
right? That's
but a little higher polish. Yeah, it's probably. I get the feeling that this game will be fun for 2 hours, and then I'm gonna get a little tired of just mowing people down. So,
well, I have a feeling its campaign won't be very long. So
it's true.
But there are a lot of Warhammer games out there, and only a few of them get this kind of budget. So
Yep. Yeah, might be good.
yeah.
All right. Next up, we got a brand new game called Yes, Your Grace Snowfall. Nick and I didn't know if this was an existing game or if this is an add-on, and this is a brand new franchise.
Oh, okay.
It describes itself as a pixelated royalist simulator.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got.
Yep, steeped in Slavic myth. So, you play as looks like a king. You're kind of making decisions what's going to happen to people.
Yeah.
You're going into battle, doing things like that. Again, I would urge people to look at the art style. It's kind of cool. It's a little different, just where the characters are way more pixelated than the environments. But it's not really for me.
I question the in-battle part. I assume that's just an outcome of your decisions.
Right.
Like it'll just play out, and if you prepared well, made correct decisions, you'll survive. But it looked interesting. It's not a normal game that we see at these kind of things. And I know Jeff Keighley made a point of saying we got something for everybody here, and you mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast. But this definitely is out there, and check it out. It's different. It looks like to be a decision-based game based on the resources you have, and you're gonna have to make some tough choices. But
also, live correction. I am stupid. It was a previously existing game.
oh, okay.
Came out in 2020, so this is the sequel to that. Shut up, Nick.
Is it coming to console or anything?
Uh,
I don't know. Well, we can correct later, but
Sure.
it's yeah.
70% discount on Steam if you want to play the first one. Yeah, I'm not
pull
sure.
up the Open Critic. Let's just get right to the source here. Is this a good game or not?
Is this worth it? Oh my God, it's a 95. I got 404, Nick. I can't look it up right now. You got a computer.
No, it's fine. It looked interesting, but again,
I can't look it up. So
fine.
I'm having some computer problems today, folks. So yeah,
The caffeine isn't helping.
I guess not. Got a 74
Okay, so,
on PC only.
Okay, all right. Well,
There you go.
There we go. So,
All right. So as I mentioned earlier in the show, next up we got from famed horror guru John Carpenter and Saber Interactive. Got a trailer for a brand new game called Toxic Commando. Coming 2024. What you got?
I mean, this would be a hard pass, but I'm going to just talk about it because it looked a little bit interesting because we don't know what it is. But my guess is it's that extraction shooter that we love so much. From that, it looks like and I think that way because you were in different vehicles a lot.
Yeah.
It is a first-person shooter, and one guy is shooting from the vehicle a lot. But you're always in he was in an ambulance at one point. He was in a tow truck pulling another car. There's hordes of zombies. This does not look up my alley, but I think obviously, I'm sure John Carpenter's just cashing a paycheck. That's just to put his name on it.
That's what you do in the video game space.
Get some validity on this, but no, it doesn't look for me. It looked pretty. It was probably an Unreal Engine 5. I can't say that for sure, but I would bet my money on it.
Yeah.
It is, but
I'm kind of I disagree with you a little bit. To me, it looks more like a survival game where you're kind of going out into, an environment with hordes of zombies. You're seeing if you can push it a little bit farther, get a little more resources, come back, upgrade your initial, fucking wagon into, eventually a tank.
Right.
Kind of thing. But
and this is our initial reactions. I'm sure this game probably has its Steam page up and everything else, and it probably explains these details.
You have to admit when you're wrong, Nick. You have to.
Okay.
For the integrity of the podcast.
I'm just saying, we're we're recording immediately after it. It's not like we went back and watched the trailer 6 times.
No, I know.
We don't know. So, but no, it's not for us. So.
Yep. I wish this next one was for us. I don't think it is though, but I wish it was.
Okay.
From Larian Studios.
Oh.
we got the official 1.0 release date for Baldur's Gate 3 coming August 31st. Larian Studios of Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 fame, which are some of the best regarded computer JRPG or computer RPGs out there.
Yep.
Nick and I tried to play the second one. It's probably more a fault than mine than anything, but it requires so much of your time, effort, and thinking, researching.
I'll be honest, I don't think it's a game we could have played together. It's
No,
like
probably not.
you sit down and you're going to play this is like an Elden Ring. You're just going to have to get engrossed in it. You're going to have to devote long
You could
periods
probably
of
only play
time.
with like a roommate, somebody that you're with every
yeah,
single day.
Yeah, so,
But so you know, it's they didn't really show much of it, but I think just it's one of those games where you know the caliber of the studio, you know it's going to be great.
yeah,
So.
and it's coming to PlayStation very soon. So,
Yep.
in a few months.
All right, and then probably the shock of the show, Nick. We got a little Spider-Man 2
Unbelievable
info, which we knew that PlayStation was going to be here when they listed all the partnerships. They were listed, and at what capacity. We got the little PSVR 2 thing earlier. Like, well, is that truly it? But a little bit after, 2 weeks after showing off the game, finally with just a fall release date, vague window. Brian Intihar came out, who is the director of the game. And just didn't really give us any much more information besides the fact that it's coming October 20th, 2023, which I think is a pretty nice little pocket. I think it's going to dominate that space. You might get a Call of Duty thing around there, but Alan Wake 2, sorry. Assassin's Creed Mirage, sorry. This game is going to sell gangbusters. I believe the first Spider-Man is the highest selling PlayStation exclusive ever.
Yep.
This is going to do just the same. Eventually, it's going to start off a little slower because it is next gen only, and just the install base isn't there.
Oh,
But everybody who has a PS5 is going to want this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a bundle.
Yeah.
We just, coming off the weekend that Across the Spider-Verse just had, Spider-Man's very hot. We did learn one confirmation of things we talked about, that Venom is not Eddie Brock. Mm-hmm. He said that specifically. So Venom in the comics and in the movies right now is played by Eddie Brock. But as we talked about on this very show, we're the experts here. That is Harry Osborn, because that was the stinger tease at the end of the first game.
Yep.
So that'll be exciting. And the brief new concept art that we saw is that Venom looks good.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting. I'm not the narrative comic book guy, but to see Peter, he's Harry's his best friend, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic of everything going on there. There's probably the symbiote attached itself to Peter, but Peter needs to get the symbiote off to save Harry, and then he finally gets it off him to save Harry, and then Harry's just, well, I can't fight him. He's my best friend. So, kind of a tried and true scenario in the video game world, but being that Insomniac has the license to do whatever they want, it's pretty exciting. So
yeah, and we're going to be able to play as Venom, which will be very exciting too. 3 playable characters. Did
they confirm that?
No, but as we've talked about on this show, you're going to be using the symbiotic powers for a long time as Peter,
right? That
when he finally gives it to Harry, you're going to just play as Harry as Venom, which is cool. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
So happy to see that. I think that in hindsight, it makes the PlayStation Showcase just a little easier to swallow, because it's just one of the tiny things that bugged me about that show.
So let's briefly touch on that.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, Sony Showcase, Spider-Man is shown there. No date. That was a point of contention for us, a point of contention for the whole showcase, that there were no dates attached to anything. But then not 2 weeks later, they come out and they confirm the date. It is not the date that Tony Todd has been teasing. It's a little later, so I wonder, and that could very well factor into this, is that they didn't know, and maybe 2 weeks they're like, all right, this is the resources we have, this is where we're at with the project, let's lock this date down. Maybe it is in response to the criticism that your PlayStation pals had. But how do you feel about this game showing up 2 weeks later to address one of our bigger criticisms of the showcase?
It kind of annoys me. I'm not mad about it, but I just, it's a move that we've never really seen in these scenarios, right? But I guess when you kind of start to think about it, it makes a little bit of sense. Sony's been trying to use this phrase "total mind share," regarding their brand lately, and that's one way to do it. Is hey, we're going to take up all of the conversation the week we're doing our showcase, and then Summer Games Fest is going to happen, and we're just going to throw a date there, and that's enough. That's enough to get people. That's going to be one of the biggest headlines from the show at this point. Sure. It's going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Spoilers. What we're going to talk about later in the show. But, it's going to be those kind of things. But, just the date on that game is going to take up a lot of the IGNs, a lot of the Polycons and things like that. So, that just might be the way that they're trying to do it. Just spread everything out.
And I know it's like kind of our problem, right? We're consuming all this stuff. Like Immortals of Avium shows up again, and we're just like, oh, okay, like here we just saw you 2 weeks ago, and here we are again. And same thing here. That it is a little frustrating to space these announcements within the same weeks of each other. You know, like it is frustrating. But I know. Again, it's what you've been doing for me lately, and a Spider-Man release date. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah, feels better.
Makes me feel good.
Especially after coming and watching the incredible movie that everybody should go see.
Yes.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
All right, here's a weird one, Nick. So they kind of showed off, and I was commenting to Nick during the show that like it feels like there's blood in the water for the Pokemon franchise, and what I mean by that is that every single version comes out, it's still selling like hotcakes, but people are getting kind of pissed off about it. I think this last one was one of the most egregious examples of that. I forget what was it, Scarlet, that just came out, whatever the last Pokemon was. I'm not sure what it was titled.
This is a PlayStation Pals podcast,
yeah, I know.
And I don't play Pokemon games, so
you don't play child games?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, so it seems like there's like people are kind of sensing that, and so we got a trailer for a game called Pal World, which you could have fooled us into thinking in certain shots that this is just a Pokemon game. This is a 3D Pokemon game. You're fighting monsters that have that very similar aesthetic.
Yeah, the art style is so similar.
Yep, throwing a sphere, a ball at them that splits open, and they go inside of it, and it comes back down. But you have guns. You have like fucking automatic rifles.
Or missile launchers.
Or missile launchers or this other stuff, and you're just shooting these huge monsters. And so it's just an interesting dichotomy or juxtaposition with one another where it's like you have these cutesy little things that you're, hey, be my pal. Let's go fight enemies together. And then you're pulling out an AK-47 and shooting him in the face. But it still maintains that very kid-friendly art style. So it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
What the game is a good question too. Is it a single-player game? Is it some kind of MMORPG?
Yeah.
Again, this is probably things that you can probably look up right now and you would know. The second you would have thought it was a Pokemon announcement, like an expansion of something, but it is I don't know. It doesn't look for me. It's kind of it's almost like I would say a Pokemon meets Fortnite is what it's going for. Is like it's kind of trying to bring two brands together, and it's just I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's going into early access in 2024. But to give you a little context, Nick, it's the Black Desert team, the South Korean team who does a huge free-to-play
this
MMO.
will tell you what it is. So
and
it's not for me.
DokeV, which was that hasn't come out yet, but that was that insane looking. I think it was the PlayStation Showcase with Wolverine that they showed that off. It was like that weird. I can't even.
Either that or it was a state of play last year. I don't.
Yeah, I can't even begin to describe this game. But from Pearl Abyss, this is gonna be free to play. This is going to have all sorts of crazy.
Hard pass, John.
Hard pass. All right,
we can move on. Then.
We reached there.
But watch the trailer nonetheless because
weird.
it'll entertain you.
All right, this one pissed me off because I'm such a loyal Lord of the Rings fan. Even though Nick would argue that point because I haven't seen the show yet. But they just I don't know what they keep doing to my franchise. We got a new game coming, hot off the release of Game of the Year contender, Lord of the Rings Gollum. We're getting Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, which is definitely dwarf focused and what is it's like Minecraft-esque slash.
Yeah, you use mining resources and you're definitely building structures. Hard pass, John. I don't even think this might even come to console.
It's just frustrating. I just have to real quick, Nick. It's just frustrating when there's such a incredible universe and world that it's almost like nobody out there wants to put in the resources and time and intricacies that you need to do to make a good one. It was like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
I was gonna hold up, bud.
Those were good. They were fun, but it's still like narratively and just everything. It just was, it's riddled with microtransactions and things like that. Fun combat, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for that Hogwarts Legacy. I'm hesitant to say that because I think that game does have a lot of problems, but like still can tell it treats the franchise what you want it to do.
Right.
Still waiting for that.
Maybe doesn't knock not a 90 on OpenCritic, but at least does the franchise justice and kind of.
Let me go explore some of those cities. Let me go. Spend time with some of the different races and things that exist in this world. But,
I hear you. Yeah. I'm sorry, bud.
All right, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis
Hard
Mobile.
pass.
Okay, mobile game coming Final Fantasy VII. Then we got, we've seen this game before, but we didn't really get much more than just a quick teaser trailer from Don't Nod Studios, makers of not the original Life is Strange, but what, Before the Storm, and I believe, what was the one that you just played?
They did the original Life is Strange.
They did?
Yeah, they were Life is Strange 2, Life is Strange True Colors.
I swear one of them, like Deck Deck 9.
Before the Storm is the other one.
Which was done by Deck 9. Sorry, I was confusing Deck 9 and Don't Nod. So yeah, so they did all those, but and did
3D games like Remember Me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
But we're getting a new IP called The Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, due out at the end of 2023.
Yeah, this was at the Game Awards last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't have much to say then, and I don't think we have much to say now.
No, they're definitely going for third-person action combat with a weird ghost ability.
Yeah, you have a ghost that's
and you
talking
can kind
to
of
you.
like
And
looks like you can kind of go up to enemies and either save them or kill them.
yeah, there were decisions to be made.
So
because they did the is it just called Vampire?
Vampire.
Vampire with a Y. That's right. Yeah,
stupid.
So, and that game had a similar decision making. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Next one, unfortunately, a little bit leaked yesterday, I believe, at least the date. So we kind of had a feeling it was going to be here, but we got to see a little bit of Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, coming November 9th from Ryu Ga Gotoku Studios. This one looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good. I mean, if you're a fan of the Yakuza series, like, you know, you're gonna eat this shit up. If you're not, you're gonna be looking at it and go, "What the fuck is this game?"
Yeah, and this is going back to the brawler formula that took place before Yakuza Like a Dragon. So it's not the turn-based combat. So,
but similarly, yeah, you're going back to the character that shepherded all of those games with Kiryu Kazuma.
So I don't know at this point, because they've all been on PlayStation Plus Extra. You're either all in or you've dabbled here and there, like myself with Yakuza Like a Dragon. I don't know what to think of this, but you know, their games are good.
I think fans are gonna like it. I think it looks high quality. There's some cool abilities that they show. The environment that they showed at the end of the game is just colors in your fucking face.
Yeah.
But I would urge everybody, just dabble in this franchise. Like, give it a shot.
There's a lot of games.
Just try one of them. I would, you know, I'm sure we've said it on the show. Try either 7 or 0 would probably be my. If you want a more of a beat 'em up style, play 0. If you want turn-based RPG mechanics, play 7. But this franchise is just so batshit insane and unique that
it's fun.
That you owed it to yourself to at least check it out.
Yeah. I agree. So.
Yeah. All right. Next up. A game called Under the Waves coming August 29th, which looks to be published by Quantic Dream,
correct,
who are the guys that did Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, things like that. So you obviously know you're going to get a narrative adventure type game, but this is
not from them. The developer is
published by them. I don't know who the developer is. I didn't write it down.
So it might not be a narrative game. I would not make that assumption.
I would.
From that footage?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have some light gameplay mechanics there, but like I think it's the main focus and the main thing you're doing is you're going through environments and getting a story told to you. I think that's going to be, you know, look to be this underwater Jacques Cousteau kind of explorer with a little submarine, and you're probably going to be picking up different pieces of a story along the way. Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of like a Subnautica, but third person, a little not as high budget, but you're piloting a submarine, collecting resources. There was a little bit of voiceover in it. This looks good. I would say this is also one of the bigger announcements of the show, one of the top announcements, because it just came out of nowhere. And yeah.
Sorry, the brief headline I see from GameStop: the underwater game about grief.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, it's an adventure game.
Yeah, developers Parallel Studios. It's a poetic underwater adventure about the engulfing power of grief. So, yeah, it can be artsy.
Yeah, I think that again that is one of the top games of the show. I think that came out of nowhere. So,
Call of Duty Season 4.
Hard pass, John.
Cool. Fate Farm.
Hard pass, John.
Marvel Snap.
Hard pass, John.
Fortnite Season 3.
Hard pass, John.
Wayfinder.
Hard pass, John.
All right, not a hard pass on this one. Lasanga, and I didn't write down the subtitle because it moved too fast, but
it was like Shift Between Worlds or something like that.
Yeah,
it was something like that.
Yeah, this appears to be a very Hades-esque looking game. Can you nail the things around that game that make it truly special? I don't know, but the camera angle looks to be pretty much exactly the same. You're dashing around just like Zagreus does, but with an interesting time mechanic where it looks like you can kind of split yourself up into different versions of yourself that look to help you through the combat. So not knowing if that's a button you can press to split yourself, or if you die in a room, you can reset yourself and your bodies will continue to help you, so you can like kind of just keep going forward. But yeah, I mean, it caught my eye at least. Anything for you?
No, I think my guess is that similar to like a Hades, it's run based, but your run is recorded in a form of this shadow character. So you'll go through and you'll be like, I'm going to attack this and this and this, and then on your next run, you'll go do whatever you want, but your shadow will come in and do those things with you. So maybe completing a level is kind of just similar to a Hades. Just try, and then eventually there's like 8 or 9 of you out there all just destroying the map. And then like if there's a boss that by yourself, hey, I'm hitting him for a sliver of damage. Well, now there's 10 of me hitting him, and now it's taking a lot of damage.
It's like the end of Nier Automata. Kind of
there you go. But yeah, again, this was one of the top games of the show, I'd say. It looked good. The mechanic looked unique, and just out of nowhere.
Lysanga, Lysanga. All right, next up, I did predict that we would see some Twisted Metal. We did.
You did pretty solid on your predictions.
I know, I'm smart. we did get a Twisted Metal short teaser trailer, I would say, that kind of showcased the voice work of Will Arnett. He came out and kind of had a little thing to say about it, how he is excited to voice the Sweet Tooth, iconic PlayStation character, but. So they showed a small segment from the show, which was basically Sweet Tooth attacking Anthony Mackie. Lots of humor trying to be inserted here and there. Not really my thing in terms of writing. So I don't know. I still remain to be sold on this show, but did this move the needle for you at all?
No. Okay. To answer that question, it either screams at the game, the rest of it, the car combat, which should be the focus, is low budget, and they're not excited to show it because this was a very specific clip in a very specific location with 2 characters that we knew were in the game. We don't know what the plot is. We don't know anything about it. You would think Anthony Mackie being attached, it would be a little bit higher budget, but it's hard to say. I will say Sweet Tooth did look good. Yep. Like the makeup and the setting was fine, but I'm with you. The humor didn't land. Twisted Metal is primarily about car combat. Let's see what it is. Let's get a full trailer at this point. It's coming out at the end of July, and that's not that far from now. So
yeah, I mean, it'll depend. Like, is this the humor that you're trying to get me to laugh, or are you just trying to set a vibe for me? Because this is the Deadpool writers, correct? I believe the Deadpool writers are attached to it, so that type of humor can be funny. Deadpool is funny,
right?
It's just this one, the killer clown listens to the thong song. It's hilarious, and you guys are going to sing it together. It's like, I don't know, man. That seems a little forced.
And that's why I'm still like kind of on the fence here, because again, it was just a clip of 30 seconds of the show, so who knows how the rest will pan out. But it didn't make me go, oh, I want to watch. I mean, for this show and because we're PlayStation
we'll
pals,
watch it for sure.
We'll watch it for sure, but if I didn't do the show, I probably would not be interested. So,
all right, 3 more left here, Nick.
All right.
So one of the most shown games in recent memory that I can think of.
Yeah, this is a hard pass, John.
All right, Immortals of Avium coming July 20th, Ascendant Studios. The lead actor really annoyed me. He looks too smug for his own good. And
okay. What's the review score on this? I'm curious as to what you.
What's my guess?
Or I can go first.
Okay. You go first.
Yeah, low 70s. Okay. If it doesn't hit high 60s.
I was going to say 78 or 79.
Ooh, no.
Okay.
No.
Looks polished. See. It looks high quality. It's just, I don't know.
Sometimes something's rubbing me the wrong way, and that game has it.
It does have it.
Like the way it's shown.
I just feel like with the amount that EA has been pushing it, like it feels like they're internally confident in it. It feels like they have something going there, but that's why I think it'll be some 7s, some 8s, couple. It'll be in there.
Yeah, they're confident to bring it to these showcases, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to go very well.
I mean, EA Originals does have a pretty good track record. Like they're pretty good. But we'll see. I don't know. It just feels like they're trying to make a big deal out of it, and nobody, stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote down Fortnite earlier.
Because there was an ad for the Fortnite editor, and then there was the new season of Fortnite. Again, it's more Fortnite. Transformers and dinosaurs. There you go.
Boom. All right. Now the big one.
Can we talk quickly the lead up to this?
Sure.
Because at the start of this whole Summer Game Fest,
yeah.
Jeff Keighley came out on stage and he did his normal hype and he did talk about the things that we already knew, Mortal Kombat 1's here and stuff like that and exciting announcements. But then he said at the end of the show, he's got something. Mm-hmm. And as we know with Jeff Keighley, he actually does know when he has something. He's not joking around. He's not going to pull the leg out from under us about what was that DoorDash? He led up to a DoorDash that led into a DoorDash ad.
Yeah, they showed. I think it was with the Final Fantasy VII mobile game.
Yeah,
and then he goes, "Speaking of Final Fantasy,"
oh
and
yeah,
everybody goes, "Woo!"
Yeah, and it was a DoorDash.
Yeah, and he just has this smirk on his face the whole time.
For Final Fantasy 16. Okay,
yeah,
so okay, now that I forgot that's what that was. Now that makes us better, but at the start of the show, he kind of built up like, oh, I got the thing at the end of this show. You're not gonna believe, like you're just be ready. And it's like, and I know, John, you weren't happy about that with that kind of hype, but I was kind of like, it's Jeff Keighley. He knows when he has something that this could be something huge, and then your mind just goes crazy, right?
Yeah.
And even up to the lead up, I think because he was talking about, a famous RPG franchise, and we thought, it could, because Elden Ring's considered an RPG. We thought
Shadow of Duratry or Cyberpunk.
That's Cyberpunk. But again, Jeff knows when he's got something bigger than those things, and which is arguable. Obviously, this franchise is. Sure. But go ahead. What was the actual announcement?
Yeah, so we got the confirmation. Final Fantasy Rebirth, 7 Rebirth, which is the part 2 of the Final Fantasy 7 remake supposed trilogy. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Coming early 2024. So they gave us a nice meaty, I don't know, good three minutes or so of just kind of showing off different locations. I think the big takeaways from here are it's at least semi-open world. Yeah. They made sure to showcase like big open sprawling areas that you get to seemingly, run around in, hitting a lot of the main bullet points of the original narrative. But we're getting into uncharted territory with me for that. So I really don't know, especially since they're trying to change the narrative of this one anyway. But yeah, coming early 2024. Weirdly, they said on 2 discs, which is interesting. Like that hasn't happened in forever.
Crazy. How big is this game?
Yeah, so like, I know the original plans with the remake was it was going to be 3 games. And it's like, do they try do they stick with that, or do they try to use their narrative freedom to figure out a way to wrap this up now? Because then again, if there's 3 games, which I do hope there is, I'm fine waiting, but that's going to be probably 10 years between the first one and the third one. That's a long time. Yep. But besides all that, game looked great. Nick, what are your thoughts on Rebirth?
Yeah, it definitely looked great. If you're a fan of the franchise, you played the game, you saw kind of there's a continent that Midgar's on. Every location on there was shown in this. I have to watch it again to see if it goes even further than that. But everything they showed in this trailer took place on that first continent. So we didn't see any new characters. We didn't see Sid or Kate Sith or Vampire Shooty Man. I forget his name.
I don't know.
I know. Looking to you. You're usually,
I don't know.
But I know people are
Vampire Shooty Man.
Vincent.
Okay,
there you go. Vincent. Sorry, I got there.
Vincent Valentine.
He's a lot of people's favorite character. He's my least favorite. So.
Really? I thought everybody hates Kate Sith.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's we all are in our mutual hate of Kate Sith.
She's the Jar Jar Binks of the.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to watch it again. They were kind of teasing when they were heavy on Twitter. I think we talked about that in the last show. And John, good boy on him. He brought it here, and I thought it was crazy because I thought Final Fantasy 16 is 2 weeks away. It's got to see more of that, but I guess they're finally that outside of a demo, they're finally just going to let that game come out and
where's my Final Fantasy 16 demo? Why did? Yeah, you just said that. What the fuck?
But I think we're going to get a lot of press coverage, and everyone's got the game right now, so we're going to get a lot of hands-on impressions. Yep. IGN had an 18-minute gameplay demo, so they're going to kind of let that game speak for itself. So to show this is great. Again, in those Twitter comments, they talked about how you can attack with the group now. Like you can kind of like out of Persona, those Showtime attacks where you and another party member kind of get together and they
a cameo attack.
Yeah, yeah, or a cameo attack from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you kind of can get together and attack together. But yeah, no, it looked great, and obviously Final Fantasy VII remake was very well received.
Yeah, and the originals are the seventh greatest game of all time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, but again, we were in uncharted territory. I want to watch the trailer again because I think they are teasing other things that did not happen. So,
yeah, didn't like Sephiroth end that trailer with like I killed her, and then like it said like but who is her? Or
yeah,
something?
or even in the beginning of the game or beginning of that trailer, they showed all the people like on stretchers, and loading them into trucks like Kate Sith and Tifa and Barrett.
Yeah.
So you really don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, so even if you're not a fan of the game, I think the plot details are going to be a lot different, even more wildly than the first game was. So, sure. But yeah, what a thing to end the show on. Like, I don't think, like I said, I thought you were crazy to say it, but here we are.
Yeah, there's definitely Final Fantasy is. I'm not going to say it's as strong as it's ever been. But it's close. I mean, between 14 being fucking huge, 16 seemingly going to be awesome, releasing another huge game less than, well, potentially 8 months or so later. That's big time stuff, man. Square Enix is definitely confident in their team right now. I think they found the right guy with Yoshi P, who is the 14 and 16 director. It seems like I don't know how attached he is to this or anything. He probably not much at all, honestly. It's the Tetsuya Nomura crew, but. It seems like they're firing on all cylinders in that universe, and if the first one's anything to go off of, like, I always expect sequels to be just a little bit better. Like, I don't expect them to digress. So, it's gonna be.
Yeah, with it being on 2 discs, I think we just scratched the surface of what's in this game. So, but yeah, good on Jeff Keighley.
Physical's not dead. How are you gonna do? It's just I want. What is the total size gonna be of that?
Yeah,
I don't know. Because like Red Dead technically was on 2 discs, right? And they one of them was just an install disc. Correct. So like it could be the same thing.
Oh, that's exactly what this will be. Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to switch discs and stuff.
Yeah. So, that's it. That's kind of all the announcements. Again, I think as we said, there were little surprises, 2 big surprises, and then just a bunch of mediocre. But it was a showcase. Mm-hmm. It was pretty solid.
It was fine. I didn't take my shirt off. I didn't get to take my shirt off.
No, we were really looking for it.
I want to.
Yeah.
Especially since Nick got me this beautiful shirt for my birthday. A faction showed up. Not that it would, because that game is dying. But yeah. So, but it was good. Jeff Keighley continues to solidify himself as just the guy now. He is the one that does this stuff, and. I think the industry trusts him. Developers and publishers trust him. Celebrities trust him. They're good to go on his show when he needs it. So, yeah, good on him, man.
Yeah. All right, so before we move on and finish this episode up, I did want to, between now and the next time we record, there are 3 big showcases, and that is Xbox Game Studio plus Starfield Direct, Ubisoft Forward, and the Capcom Showcase. Let's start... And just generally talk about them. Like, this is off the cuff. I'm kind of throwing this last minute because, again, by next episode, we'll probably be talking about everything that was shown at these events. Mm-hmm. But let's start with Xbox. That's kind of the big thing. We are a PlayStation podcast, but there will be multi-platform games here. They have been tight-lipped about things that are going to be here other than Starfield. But not to lie, Xbox has so many games in the ether, including Fable, Indiana Jones from Machine Games, possibly a Mandalorian game, Perfect Dark, Contraband, Avowed,
Hellblade 2, Everwild,
Outer Wilds 2,
State of Decay 3.
Yeah, yeah, they're just out there with kind of everything they have. But is there anything that you would be excited to be there? at all. You are the Xbox owner on the show, so
Sure am.
but you're
I don't
not,
know why.
You're not. But you're not really into the Xbox ecosystem as far as their existing franchises. Like, I don't think Gears 6 is not going to be like, oh my God.
No, anything Halo or Gears related gets a big yawn from me. What I would like to see from the Xbox show, well, what I think will be there, I think Fable is going to be a big one. And that's a franchise that I'm curious about.
Yeah.
I think you yourself and many other people have said that Fable is one of their favorite like RPG franchises out there that does the genre a little bit different. It's goofy, funny dialogue, things like that. Doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yep.
And Xbox like had a tweet that like showed some gut dust leading to something. So I think Fable will be there. I'm excited to see Fable. I don't know anything about it, but I'm ready to.
Playground, right, is the developer of
who does like the Forza games.
Yeah, the Forza games.
So
the Horizon Forza games. So
yeah, so it's an interesting, a very talented developer stepping outside of their comfort zone, which, you think of Respawn and teams like that, it can produce great things, but I'm curious to know more about that franchise. So that's one. And Avowed's probably the other big one that like I want to see more of from their first-party teams. I think Obsidian is a fantastic developer. Their strongest suit is their writing, which isn't usually my, go-to with a game. But the small piece of Avowed that they showed off seemed like it was like, Skyrim, but with prettier graphics and, cool medieval sword fighting and things.
Yeah, I'm curious if is it either Outer Worlds 2 or Avowed showed here.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of tell you which is the next project and which one's on the back burner.
They're just going to pull an Insomniac and show both.
yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Outer Worlds is probably their next project. It's probably a smaller, easier game to make. But Obsidian definitely seems like one of those teams that has a very rare team on the Xbox side that has a very smooth pipeline, that has teams working on different things. They made games like Pentiment, Grounded. They're pumping out games. They don't really take a break. So, yeah, I would like to see that. But and then the other one that they showed last year that I just want more info of is Silksong. Like, it's not an Xbox game, but I just want more info from Silksong. They made that 12-month promise last year that they missed a lot of, and that's one of them. So I would hope to see it there again, just because it has precedent to be there. And I fucking love Hollow Knight, so I want to see more.
Yeah, and also leading into this, Xbox is kind of on the downturn, right? We talked about the Redfall. We talked about Phil Spencer's comments. Like, it's time, man. This is the make or break for Xbox, I really think, especially with Sony having a weaker showcase. They can, they do have the bigger release of Spider-Man later this year, but I'm excited. I kind of think Xbox is going to bring it, and hopefully, this will lead to some good indies and third-party games that are also coming to PlayStation that we'll get to see here. That kind of will bask in the Xbox showcase spotlight. And I do want to see Starfield. Like I like that is a big question mark, and kind of the outside of this showcase, the next game that kind of has to prove after Redfall that. This is why you're subscribed to Game Pass, because you want those day-and-date games that are just the big hits.
You got to wow me.
Yep.
You got to wow me, man.
So, this following up by a huge direct that's going to be talking about it. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of other Xbox stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think it's too early for Indiana Jones, even though it'd be nice to get that, synergy going with. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to see it, but from what I heard when that game was initially teased, it was like, yeah, this is like all they have. It's just this little credits. So,
Okay.
and
that's interesting.
And with Xbox being as honestly poor management as they are with their studios, I don't know. But it would be synergistically, it'd be nice to see. But for you, man, I think you're going to see Cyberpunk there too. Like, I think that's the other surefire thing that I think.
Since it was not at the
Since it was not here, it's going to be there, and you'll get. I think we just saw some rumors going around that the price got leaked. Things like that. So again, similarly to Rebirth, you start seeing these little pieces of info coming out. Something's coming. So
and they're here. We know that it is playable for people at this Summer Game Fest event. So
yeah, you'll see it.
Yeah, it'll be there for sure, and I'm excited. Please be this year. Please be soon.
Yep.
Please, like not October. Be like September.
September
or August. Please.
I'm feeling July or August.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm thinking.
Don't get my hopes up.
Yeah, I know. But No, there has been some leaks about the showcase too, like saying Scalebound's going to be back, showing off the Halo battle.
That league is so fake. That's the biggest red flag.
I know, but I don't know, man. I mean, that would be get people
'Cause
talking.
That's Platinum Games too.
How funny would it be if it got canceled again? But
all right, let's move on from them. Let's move on to Ubisoft. Obviously, the game we just saw will be there, the Prince of Persia game that we're kind of excited about. So it'll be exciting to see that. They've teased X Defiant. We got Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. We got Assassin's Creed Mirage. There was an Assassin's Creed VR game teased at the Meta Quest showcase. So that will also be here. But and I know you probably want a Rayman sequel, but that'll probably not be here. But is there anything? Oh, and Skull and Bones are. That is definitely going to be here too. Is there? And they did tease that there is something new here. That their teaser does say something new. Sure. They do have that Star Wars game coming from Massive.
That's the answer to the question you're about to ask.
Okay, yep. There you go. So that's what you want to see. What it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty down on Ubisoft right now. It's not to say that I don't like their games or haven't liked their games in the past. I'm a pretty big Far Cry fan. I think Far Cry is a great formula. But no, I would be hyped to see, like you said, new Rayman.
Yep.
I'd honestly probably be a little hyped to see, and I actually expect to see what's next with the Division. They've had that Heartlands thing kind of being talked about for a while, and I really liked the first one. The second one, I fell off a little bit, but that Star Wars game. I want to see what that's about. Massive. Yep. Speaking of the Division, they're the guys who make the Division, and I think that's one of the stronger outings that they've had. It's fun. It's a well put together game. So let me see what they're working on in the Star Wars universe, and then I do want to honestly see what Avatar is. I just want to see what that game, what that game's like. It seems like a franchise that would lend itself very well to video games.
Yep.
So just want to probably see those things, but. In terms of what they're making that's new, I don't know. They also have a lot of things just out there, like the reboot of the original Prince of Persia game, Skull and Bones, X Defiant. There's just a lot of things out there that they have to either give us updates about or I don't know. But I wouldn't expect to see too much new stuff, with the exception of, like they said, like there's going to be that one or two new things. But they got to start getting some games out. That's what they have to do. So
20 Assassin's Creed games. Stay tuned.
Do they talk about Infinity some more? Do they talk about? I think there was rumors that they wanted to make Far Cry kind of the same type of thing, where it's just this persistently going thing, and it just makes me want to throw up. But
we'll see. I'll see.
Keeping my expectations low for that, so that I can just be. That's fine.
Yeah. Again, I think they should be focusing on Skull and Bones, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar, the games we know about.
Yes.
And this new Prince of Persia game. But and then finally, we also have Capcom. They will have a showcase on Monday as well, the same day as the Ubisoft, June 12th. We probably expect more Street Fighter, see some DLC, see what plans they have for that game.
Exoprimal.
Yep, Exoprimal, which comes out a month from now. That'll be a big showcase, and more of this collaboration with Street Fighter will probably be shown. Do we plan to see anything Resident Evil?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to show off Dragon's Dogma 2 a good amount. I think you'll see a gameplay there.
Maybe, safe bet.
I don't know if it's time to show off a new Resident Evil. Like 4 is still the bee's knee. I mean, you could show off some more VR stuff, but it is interesting because they've been sending out these surveys to people saying, hey, what's the next Resident Evil you want us to remake? So we're far too early to see any type of what's the next remake.
Right.
9, it just doesn't feel like it.
No, I actually don't think it's that here at all. I think
right.
It's way
too
soon.
So no, I think it would be more likely that you'd see what's next with Devil May Cry. That you might be able to Monster Hunter World 2.
That's also been a while. Yeah.
I think you're more likely to see that, and Resident Evil gets to take the year off.
Yeah. I think it's time to focus on our other franchises. But yeah, I think Monster Hunter World would be the big ending announcement if they were to do it.
I'm just gonna throw it out, just because I had a good showing today.
Okay.
We're gonna see a 3D Mega Man game.
Oh,
you ready?
God.
Mega Man Legends is returning, Nick's favorite, or something like that.
So bad.
Yeah, but it could be done right. Now, with Capcom, who it is now, with Mega Man, listen, like if you just think about what an open world game could be with a Mega Man character, he's just all about getting new abilities and things. Like, it could be cool. Don't even give me that face. Why could it not be cool? Come on, why could it not be?
It's
cool?
got a lot to prove. That's all.
Sure.
It's the worst.
Sure, but I could see something like that. I don't know, Castlevania.
Yeah, that has also been rumored.
No, I'm sorry, that's Konami.
Oh yeah.
Duh. Yeah, I know video games. No, so
We've been recording for a long time at
Yeah.
this point, so we're getting a little loopy here.
No.
Yeah, but
if I'm, I feel like every time Capcom has an event, it's always like, all right,
updates. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, yeah. Here's this, and then maybe one thing.
Yeah.
So, not expecting
Sure.
too much from that one, honestly.
No. I think Phantom Ghost Trick is also rumored to
right.
be there. So.
Yeah, Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective, those 4 words in some order. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we got there. We're at the end of the show. Again, teases for next week will obviously be all these showcases. Even as we're recording, Devolver Digital is going on, Days of the Devs going on. There's going to be a lot more announcements that we are going to talk about. I don't know if they'll take over the whole show, but it's probably very likely. Xbox Game Showcase is going to be big.
Xbox is going to be big, yeah.
But on other fronts, on the gaming front, John, do you have anything to tease or anything?
I'm at Mikella, man. I'm
Okay.
at Mikella in Elden Ring, which is the one that everybody fucking talks about. So I'm a little nervous. I haven't fought her yet, but I'm so close. I'm so close. So would love to get through that if I can find some time to game.
Get through it by Sunday so they can announce it at the Xbox
That would be
Game
hilarious.
Showcase.
I would love that. I would love it.
The DLC.
The Shadow of the Erd Tree. But no, and then just Tears of the Kingdom, taking up my time when I can't be in my basement. And I would love to be able to answer that question in a different way sometime soon. I would love to.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. You'll just have to live with video game announcements, feeding you some variety here. If you haven't been following us on Twitter, I went and bought Street Fighter 6. It took less than 24 hours of posting the podcast to break me.
Yeah, you pulled a me, dude. You pulled a me with that one.
Yeah, the stars aligned and the opportunity was there. And again, we love physical games. When you get more than $44 of store credit, it's like, why not?
Sure.
Why not at this point? Just check out this very well-reviewed
$25.
game. Yep. So, I might have thoughts on that if time allows. If not, I'll bring it.
What do you have to do?
I'm just saying with the showcases. If these showcases bring enough announcements, we might not be even talking about games we're playing at all or any other topics. So, that'll be it. So, all right, John, we did it. We finished our 1 year of the show. What is the song we're going to end on?
So this is a little, in celebration of the 1 year anniversary. It's a little. It's not from a video game, which I know might break our rules here.
Oh boy, no.
But it's a celebration of video games, and I feel like that's okay.
Okay.
So recently released.
Oh boy, I don't know this, folks. So
you've heard it though.
Okay.
Recently released, we got a new Tenacious D track. I'm a big fan of Tenacious D. I love Jack Black. And he released a little song called Video Games. It's only like a minute and 20 seconds. It's super short, but talks about God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's silly, it's stupid, it's quick, but it makes me smile. And so I want to bring it. Not in a game, I hope you'll allow it, but I think it's a good celebration.
It's not the first time, so.
It's not?
No, we had You Can't Always Get What You Want. After all the bad showcases.
Sure.
We played that song, so
okay. All right, so I'm not bringing too many rules, but
no.
Yeah, Tenacious D. Grew up with them.
Yeah, and they're going to be at this big. I mean, we're not out in L.A. and Hollywood, but there's a big video game concert that Jeff Keighley's putting on that features them with a bunch of other artists and musicians from video games. So, and Jack Black's obviously a big fan of video games. He starred in them, so.
Yep.
He is safe. Yeah, he's safe to pick on here. So,
cool.
Yep. Enjoy the song. If you haven't heard it already, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
But we will be back.
Bye.
We will be back next week with something, either the showcases or we'll be in our Six Things format. So stay tuned. Again, thanks for listening. We love you guys. Bye.
Are you plugged in?
Yeah.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I don't play video games no more. I never play video games. Except for a little bit of God of War. I never play video games. Maybe once in a while, a little bit of Fallout 4. But that's okay, not right now. I got things to do, cause I don't play video games no more. Never play video games. But Red Dead Redemption 2, that is not a game. It's an incredible journey through old American history. Fighting for your life and fighting for your family. Try to live your days with honor and integrity. That's not a game, that's an adult thing. That's not a game at all. That's like fucking Shakespeare. You know I don't play video games no more. Tiny bit of video game. I guess I still play fucking video games. Yeah! That's it. That's the one. It's on the album.